Good morning, my brothers and sisters, and all my friends from all over the world. This morning we are going to talk about the power and potential of Madhu Vidya, the doctrine of universal cooperation and collaboration, to create the progressively creating the novelty, or we could say and remember and respect David Bhim, the greatest physicist, who gave us the theory of implicate order, implicate and explicate order, the unfolding of the hollows, the unfolding of the divinity. And through the power of Madhu Vidya, through the attitude of universal goodwill and universal welfare and universal cooperation, we could unfold the emergence of novelty not only one time but progressively all over our pilgrimage of the earth. The one day we will reach to the evolutionary station of the divine being. We already are divine being. But the only problem with us is that we never give time and energy to discover our divinity within. My dear brothers and sisters, this morning we are going to talk about this power and potential of Madhu Vidya. The very first example I would like to recall is the example of building the bridge over the sea to reach Sri Lanka from South India. And this greatest feat was performed in Treta Yuga by Lord Rama. And this bridge today, as the Western scholars call it Adam's Bridge, we used to call it Ram Setu, the bridge built by Lord Rama. Lord Rama was camping with his army of all the animals, the great monkey army and the bears and all the animals, small or big, camping at the seaside and thinking how we are going to cross over to the other side. Lord Rama invoked the Madhu Vidya through the great Jyotirlingam of Rameshvaram. That Jyotirlingam of Rameshvaram, Jyotirling, it means the pillar of light, the pillar of Shiv Sankalpa. So Lord Rama went on the beach and he collected the sand together and built the Jyotirlinga of Rameshwaram. My dear brothers and sisters, to build a pillar of Jyotirlinga from the sand of the beach is this representative and the symbol of infinite number of the particles of the sand put together, joining together in the attitude of universal collaboration and universal cooperation for the welfare, for the hand of the God, to perform the greatest unfolding of the novelty. And Lord Rama prayed to the Jyotirlingam of Rameshwaram. That was the invocation of Madhu Vidya, building the  from infinite number of sand particles. when the sand particles came together in one mental attitude, with one ambition, with one goal, to build the bridge, to bless the building of the bridge. And it was done so. The second example I would like to talk about is from the scientific world. As we know that Earth has evolved stage by stage in millions of years. And that is also the phenomena of unfolding the divinity of our planet Earth. And the insignificant bacteria, which we can't see with our eyes, they decided, they took a resolution of Bodhisattva vow that we are going to create oxygen, the circle of greatest circle of compassion around the planet Earth. And they generated so much oxygen that the whole biosphere was encircled by the great shield of oxygen. My dear brothers and sisters, we are also told by the science that the upper layer, which is known as ozone layer, is also kind of oxygen, which is our protecting shield, our armor, cosmic armor, to protect the whole earth and the biosphere of the whole earth, which maintains the life on planet Earth. Who did it? And how they did it? Very insignificant organism which we can't see. Those great bacteria, those great hands of God, they join together as one great organism, the one great Virat Swarupa of Lord. And they created so much oxygen that was the greatest quantum jump from anaerobic life to aerobic life. The problem with the anaerobic life and existence was that you cannot enjoy the karma. You cannot enjoy enough energy to act, to work with your hands. You need the great batteries, ATP, Adenosine triphosphate, the ATPs, to supply us with the energy, to supply the aerobic organisms with energy whenever they need it. It's like an ATM of the bank, available to us in every cell. And those are our powerhouses. My dear brothers and sisters, let me remind you again the power and potential of Madhu Vidya. And they are also bacteria. In our own body, more than our own cells, we have many times more other organisms. The great bacteria who built the mitochondrias. Mitochondrias are also bacteria lodged in our cells to help us do the work of God. The evolutionary work on earth. And the humanity, the human organism is blessed with those great powerhouses of mitochondria, with the ATPs, adenosine triphosphate, our powerhouses, that whenever we need the energy, you go and take it. You just go and plug in, and you got your power bank, the ATPs, anytime, money. My dear brothers and sisters, the power and potential of Madhu Vidya is infinite. And we could reach to the infinite heights of divinity, unfolding the divinity through the greatest attitude which is demonstrated by Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is no person existing. Lord Shiva is the embodiment of the attitude of universal welfare. Lord Shiva is like planet Earth, an ecosystem of peace, progress and prosperity for one and all, for all the sentient beings and everyone. Lord Shiva is the embodiment of that attitude, the universal welfare, Jagat Kalyan. And there is no Shiva existing otherwise. So even if I take this name, I don't offend any brother and sister and any of my friends who believe in any other names of the gods. Because Shiva is no person. We only feel little bit jealousy with a person. This is the human mind. So if there is no person behind, we usually take it easily and gently. So Lord Shiva is the Lord of everybody, because He is the embodiment of universal welfare, universal goodwill, universal empathy, universal love and compassion, unconditional, all-inclusive compassion. My dear brothers and sisters, so those bacteria, with the doctrine and with the science of Madhu Vidya, the science of collective cooperation, the science of collective unfolding of the divinity from within to without, to materialize that divinity in matter around us. And that is what God's creation is. God created the whole universe, material universe, as the image of Lord God. So when we have this attitude, without any duality, without any judgmental mind, and when we look at this great creation, the greatest creation of Lord God, with the eyes of innocence, infinite innocence, and infinite trust, we will see God in action everywhere. As the great Rishi, Maharishi Kanad, who gave this greatest story, Kan Kan Mein Bhagwan, every particle has the God. You could have the darshan of God in every little particle. And I was amazed, somewhere around 70s and 80s, when I discovered the great scientific magazine was not so much like a research magazine, but it was more like the science fiction magazine. It started after the flower revolution. And I used to be so enchanted with the photography by a Russian photographer. And he will photograph even a particle of sand. And in this Omni Science magazine, science fiction magazine, of course it is now out of the circulation, but I was amazed and I used to enjoy those beautiful photographs. And now, with the help of technology, we could see from the photography how a flower opens, the time photography. My dear brothers and sisters, all is possible. Everything is possible. We have the power and potential. We have all the wisdom and all the knowledge and all the science and technology to build the heaven on earth collectively. With the help of, with the science of Madhu Vidya, we have that power and potential. Only what we need to do is to believe ourselves. And we don't have to prepare for the grand suicide, the grand self-destruction, and the mass suicide through the atom bombs, the hydrogen bombs and the neutron bombs. We don't need to. And also we don't need to run away from planet Earth like many other people are trying to find another home before the earth is destroyed. Because they are the masters of the planet, they got all the money and they are running the show. So they are preparing to run away from Mother Earth. My dear brothers and sisters and my friends, what a poverty of thought. What a poverty of this great image of God. And we are either trying to run away from planet Earth, or we are going to commit the mass suicide, the self-destruction. Because of our poverty of our thought, that we can't believe in ourselves, that we can create heaven on earth. And we can't even, those poor people, I call them the 1% masters as the poor people, who couldn't even get over with their jealousy, who couldn't get over with their sadism, that they are so happy to see 99% of the humanity going under this terrible existence of poverty and hunger. And they are so gaga and so happy in their 5-star or 7-star or 11-star hotels or beaches. They are so poor. They are so wretched in their thought and in their poverty and in their wisdom. And they are suffering from sadism, terrible sadism, that they derive their happiness from the 99% of humanity's suffering. I call a person sadist who derives his happiness from the suffering of somebody else. That's not what the humanity here for. We are here on the planet, not as the sadists, but as volunteers, the cosmic volunteers, not only to create the heaven on earth, but one day we will populate and we will go around and expand all over the universe, all over the solar system, and create heaven everywhere. Wherever we go, we are the hands of God. We are the Vishwakarma, the embodiment of the greatest heavenly Vishwakarma, the engineer of heaven, the architect of heaven, the designer of heaven. And we are the greatest embodiment of Vishwakarma on planet Earth as the hands of God. And with the help of Madhu Vidya, as we have talked about the Ram Setu, the Adam's Bridge, which was built in Treta Yuga by Lord Rama, by invoking Madhu Vidya, and the great contribution of the bacteria to create an armor around the planet Earth, the great era of oxygenation by bacteria. That's Madhu Vidya, the power and potential of Madhu Vidya. And another power and potential of Madhu Vidya is the great mitochondrias, which live in every cell. We have trillions of the cells. And they are our power banks. Because of their contribution, we move, we work, we run, we climb. We do everything, all the actions, with their help. My dear brothers and sisters, what is not possible with the help of Madhu Vidya? With the attitude of universal cooperation and collaboration, to create the universal benevolence. And that is what it means by the greatest Vedic teaching of the Vedic civilization, which is surviving with the rural India as the rustic wisdom when it says, Gav Rama. The village is Lord Rama. One day, humanity must exist as that great global village. And we will create this global village with a global unity as the family of God, as the family of Lord Krishna's Vasudeva, Vasudev Kutamkam. And when we will get together, when we will join our hearts and minds, when we will transcend the boundaries and separatism and our poverty of thought, that one day we will break open the chains of this prison, of this caste, color, creed, nationalities, territorial imperatives, and all kind of boundaries and all kind of prisons we have made for ourselves. We are living like frogs in each village, in well, deep wells. All the religions, as the greatest thinker and the greatest pioneer of the Hindu wisdom and the greatest representative of the wisdom tradition of India, the great Vivekananda, when he spoke, when he delivered the lecture, his core message to whole humanity in Chicago was that all the religions, all the religious people, the learned people, they all behave like frogs in their own wells, deep wells, proclaiming they know the truth and talking about that the universe, because looking from the down, from the bottom, looking towards the sky and saying the sky is as big as a coin, the poor frogs. And let me just extend this story when the right content is here, right context is here. This frog, this grandpa living in this well and telling the children every evening, having a big satsang and telling the children that the sky is as big as a coin, as a dime. And they believed so. The children used to say, "Oh, Grandpa, thank you very much, you are so wise." But my dear brothers and sisters, one day, a bucket, somebody lowered down a bucket to pull up some water, and this grandpa's leg got entangled in that rope, and the poor grandpa was pulled out of the well. And all the children were crying, "Oh, Grandpa, where are you going?" And the grandpa was crying, "I don't know, but now the sky is getting bigger, my dear brothers. My children, the sky is getting bigger, and it's bigger than the dime, and it's bigger than this." And as he was coming up out of the well, entangled in this rope, and when it was pulled out in the open, and the bucket was emptied, this grandpa landed in this water tank, open water tank, and he was looking at the sky and he was going crazy. "Oh God, I was so fool, such a fool. I was thinking the sky is just as big as a dime, as a coin, but the sky is so big. I was such a fool, I'm so sorry." One of the eagle, the kite, was looking at this creature jumping around. So the kite decided, "Oh, that's a great breakfast. Why not?" So the kite is scooped down and took Grandpa by the leg, up and up and up. And again the sky started growing, and the grandpa was going, you could say, crazy. And he was saying, "Oh Lord, I'm sorry, I made such a mistake of my life, and I misguided my children, that the sky is only as big as the dime." The kite, the very first time when kite experienced such kind of organism is not scared but talking blah 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 and so crazy. So the eagle decided to drop it. You don't know, this breakfast can be poisonous or this breakfast can be a crazy idea like a magic mushroom. I don't want to go crazy. So dropped it. As a grandpa went down straight into this well. And the children were waiting and they were saying, Grandpa has come back, our Messiah has come back, and our prophet has come back. And the grandpa was saying with folded hands, I'm sorry my children, I misguided you, please forgive me. The sky is not as big as dime, but the sky is very big and it's infinite expanse, and I could see because of this event. Thank you very much and have a beautiful, beautiful day, my dear brothers and sisters. Thus must be our attitude to come out of these wells which we created as the prisons of these religious doctrines all around, and try to see how big the sky is. I invite you, I invoke you, my brothers and sisters and all my friends from all over the world, please come out of your wells, the prisons of the self-possessive idealism which we have built around, and this wisdom arrogance which is keeping us imprisoned and chained forever. Let's break open those chains and stand up and take this vow of Bodhisattva to build the heaven on earth. Thank you very much and have a very, very beautiful day, my brothers and sisters.